Jakob, wearing a spacesuit, walks across the planet's surface, but it was just a dream. In reality, he works on a space station. It's been exactly 180 days since the launch of the solo flight. The press and the public are cheering Jakob. At this moment, he has reached Jupiter. He managed to take some pictures of the celestial phenomenon. It's been given the name Chopra Cloud. In less than a week, he'll collect particles from the cloud and analyze its composition. Perhaps they'll be able to unlock the secrets of the universe. A student asks if Jakob considers himself the loneliest man in the world. He replies that he can communicate with people from all over the world, including his wife Lenka. The next day, Lenka decides to separate from Jakob. Commissioner Tuma orders not to show the tape. She will try to talk to the girl. Every day, Jakob tries to call Lenka, but she doesn't pick up. That night, he feels sick. Jakob looks in the mirror and notices a creature crawling under his eye. It gets to his nose and tries to crawl out through the nostril, but it turns out to be too small, and then the creature crawls into his mouth. Suddenly, Jakob wakes up. Half of the ship's cameras are malfunctioning for some reason, although all the electronics are normal. During another attempt to reach Lenka, a male voice turns on. He asks if Jakob needs help. Peter says that their system can't be hacked. There must be a glitch in the transmitter connection. As Jakob tries to sleep, he notices a strange sound. The food vault had opened for some reason, and all the food flew out of its compartments. It seems rather strange because he was closing the drawers. He opens the door, and a huge spider appears in front of him. Jakob is at a loss for words and doesn't know what to do. He asks the workers if there are secret cameras on the ship that he doesn't know about. Peter answers yes, but she is one of the first to disconnect. Jakob reopens the door. The spider begins to speak in human language. He didn't mean to scare Jakob, and he shouldn't be afraid of him. The spider accidentally rips off the mount, and Jakob starts to think he's going crazy. When he's locked in the airlock, he sees the spider fixing the breakage. Jakob asks Peter to disfigure the ship. Peter doesn't understand. Why do that either? Then Jakob puts on a spacesuit and fills the ship with a gas that kills 99% of all life. The yellow gas reminds him of the days when he and Lenka walked through fields of flowers. When the gas dissipates, Jakob exits the airlock. The spider is still alive. He once again says that he doesn't want any harm to come to Jakob. The spider can read Jakob's mind, which causes it to respond to everything he thinks about. Jakob wants to touch the creature to see if it is real, but the spider asks him not to. They don't do that in his tribe. The spider also asks not to wear the suit. He can't infect Jakob. He, like Jakob, is a space explorer. He has been able to explore the Earth from orbit and study human history, but he hasn't been able to understand absolutely everything. One day, he spotted Jakob's ship, and he wanted to study his loneliness. A new day came. Spider starts to show Jakob the days when he and Lenka were fighting. The spider realizes that their relationship is crumbling, but maybe his presence will help dispel the loneliness. Jakob begins to watch videos of when their relationship was happy, but a spider enters the cabin as he wants to ask about his girlfriend. However, Jakob asks him not to enter his room and closes the door. After a couple of minutes, the spider notices that there are pictures of Jakob on the food. Isn't he very honored in his tribe? Jakob orders him not to enter that room. The spider replies that he has very many restrictions. Perhaps they are the reason he has become lonely. The spider then asks for caviar from the feathered representatives. Jakob realizes that he means eggs and says that he did not take them into space, but he can taste this food. It reminds the spider of maggots from his home planet. Jakob wonders where his home is. The spider replies, "It's gone. They were attacked by Garampedes. The survivors had to leave the planet." But then he found Jakob and suggests that food is a way for humans to cope with their loneliness. The spider tells us that the cloud contains great wisdom. When he was young, he managed to catch a piece of cloud. Jakob asks, "Did these particles originate when the universe began, and was there a spider?" He answers maybe. Jakob doesn't understand. Is the spider immortal? The spider assures him that everything that has a beginning has an end. Inside the cloud, he will find the beginning. Then a memory is triggered. Lenka suggested that we never leave each other. If she decided to go somewhere, Jakob should go with her and vice versa. He agreed, but then he broke his promise. Spider doesn't understand why one should make such a promise that can be easily broken. Jakob asks him to stop showing his thoughts, but the spider wants to save him. After all these memories, the spider starts to get depressed. At this time, Lenka came to visit her mother. She's constantly haunted by the feeling that she might vaporize, but soon everything should be alright, except Jakob can't see her. When the day comes, and the daughter asks why she left her father, she'll say that when she married him, she liked his determination, but she was wrong. Everyone makes mistakes when they're young. Jakob gives the spider the name Hanush. During lunch, he listened to an opera about a mermaid who falls in love with a man, but they can't be together. The spider thinks that Jakob sees himself as an unhappy lover. He and Lenka had a lot of love, but where has it evaporated to? Jakob asks him to stop showing his thoughts, but the spider insists they need to continue. A new day is coming. Tuma comes to Lenka's house. She admits that she didn't deliver the message. He misses his wife very much. Lenka immediately replies, "Then why did he fly away?" Tuma sees them as lost individuals in a hopeless darkness, but one must be able to stick together. In 45 hours, Jakob will approach the cloud. To dull his longing, he looks at old tapes. Suddenly, a purple particle flies out of the camera. The spider calls it a particle about the beginning. Jakob catches the particle, but it flies through the jar. The particle cannot be held. A little later, more particles appear in the ship. They fly towards the cloud. Thinking about meeting Tuma, the Lenka notices a small, friendly spider. A few days before the flight, the Lenka feels sick. That day, the spider shows Jakob. He doesn't understand how it's possible because he wasn't there. The spider replies, "Your thoughts have always been there." However, when Lenka asked him to cancel the flight and return to her, he refused. Lenka tried to tell him that her soul is torn apart and she feels incredibly lonely. Jakob couldn't stand this conversation and asked to call back later, but Lenka was still very happy and proud of Jakob. In turn, Jakob broke all his promises, with the exception of the great discovery. Spider reproaches Jakob that he does not even try to understand his companion. And how could he when Jakob sees only himself? At first, the spider thought that selfishness and short-sightedness was inherent in the entire human species. But when the spider saw the sloth, he realized that Jakob had doomed himself to loneliness. The spider is about to leave Jakob. He tries to stop the spider. The spider reminds him that he doesn't like to be touched. Then he disappears. Jakob starts to remember all the happy times in his life. At the same time, he numbs the pain with alcohol, but he still can't hold back the tears. Tomorrow, Peter wants to get the data. However, Jacob will only give the report after Peter arrives at Lenka's house. Jakob wants Lenka to listen to him. He finally realizes that his journey was a mistake, and he doesn't understand what led to that mistake. All this time, the Lenka has been trying to understand Jakob's personality, but he feels sorry that he didn't try to understand her. Because of that, he doesn't deserve her. But if he gets another chance, he'll never be the same again. Each of them can't hold back the tears. The ship finally flies into the cloud. Hanush watched his conversation and concluded that he had succeeded in clearing himself. The spider returned to the ship. Jakob notices that something is crawling inside Hanush. He admits that he hasn't been honest enough. When their planet was attacked, he ran away too late. Jakob sees him as a similarly broken man and offers him a hug, and the spider forgets his inhibitions. The last day comes. The spider asks for refreshment before discovering galactic secrets. Lenka watches the live feed of the space operation. Suddenly, larvae begin to crawl out of the spider. Jakob quits following and rushes to his friend's aid, but he is flown outside the ship. Jakob puts on a spacesuit and goes into space. He tries to kill the maggots with the gas, but because of the pressure, he is thrown back into the ship and loses his lifeline. Jakob thanks him for his help, but soon the Garampedes weaken his body and could consume his flesh. But they have a little more time, and while he's still alive, Jakob has time to see something amazing. At the center of the cloud is the beginning, the end, and the beginning of all living things, the future and the past at the same point. Jakob is amazed at what he sees. Hanush helps to realize that Jakob lives with the desire to present all the good things for Lenka. Time comes to an end. The spider has to leave Jakob. As a farewell, he gives Hanush's favorite food. Jakob thanks Hanush for helping him find the meaning of life. Hanush's last words, "It tastes just like home." Jakob can only watch as his friend is eaten by maggots. Lenka notices a purple particle rising from the ground and flying away in a cloud. And Jakob meets Lenka, whom he calls a mermaid. A little later, Jakob is found by another research shuttle and taken aboard the ship. Finally, Jakob calls Lenka and apologizes again for leaving her, and this time, she forgives him. That's the end of the movie. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your comment. See you very soon. Bye.